Here's hoping today's video will be a little more streamlined, to say the least. Hopefully. So around the time I was editing the Bill Finger episode, Sega released a new trailer for the next Sonic game. No, not DeviantArt for Sonic Forces. I'm talking about Sonic Mania. This return to the classic 2D Sonic formula is more than a welcome addition in my book. It seems to be going smooth with Christian Whitehead, Rose, at the helm. Now Christian, aka the Taxman, is a known name around the Sonic fan community as he created the ports of the original Sonic 1 and 2 for mobile devices, as well as the game we're focusing on today, Sonic CD. Sonic CD was developed around the same time as Sonic 2 was in development, as co-creator Yuji Naka left to San Francisco to handle development on Sonic 2 with Sega Technical Institute. Sega wanted a Sonic game to be ready for the Sega CD and add on to the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive. Sonic creator Naoto Oshima was there to be put in charge of development on the next Sonic game. While discussing plans with Yuji Naka, the concept of time travel was being considered, with Oshima jumping on the idea, inspired from the classic film Back to the Future. Oshima also wanted to expand the cast a little bit more. With the help of art director Kazuyuki Hoshino, he introduced two new characters, the first being Amy Rose. Rather than your typical romance kidnapping dynamic like Princess Peach and Mario, Oshima wanted to have Amy be the one in love with Sonic, with the latter not reciprocating her feelings, like a princess waiting for a gallant knight to save her. The next was Metal Sonic. As opposed to the bulky Mecha Sonic from Sonic 2, Metal was designed to be a slick mechanical version of Sonic, with the intent of being Sonic's one true adversary. Oh wait. To show off the new capabilities of the Sega CD, Sega commissioned Toei Animation to create animated FMV cutscenes for the opening and ending sequences. These cutscenes, as you see previously, were the inspiration for the recent Sonic Mania trailer. After 2 years of development, Sonic CD was released on September 23, 1993 in Japan. America will have to wait until November. Now there is one more thing about the development that ties in with the westernization. More on that later. Before I get into the game itself, I'm going to address something off the bat. I will be focusing on the 2011 Taxman remaster out for the Xbox 360 for reference, as it's the most refined way to play the game as opposed to the original Sega CD or the Sonic Gems collection. It's the same Sonic CD from 1993 with added bells and whistles, with the only notable change being that the DA Garden and sound tests are only available after getting a certain amount of time in the time trials. With that said, let's get into the game. Once every year on the shores of Neverlake, the ironically named Little Planet appears overhead. Wanting to get a glimpse of this cosmic spectacle, our nomadic protagonist Sonic ventures to Neverlake to see that the planet is now partially mechanized and it's chained and tethered to a mountain bearing his nemesis,
Ivo Robotnik.
His face on it. Wasting no time, Sonic heads to Little Planet to liberate it from Robotnik's reign and foil his plan to get the obligatory MacGuffins, the Time Stones. Along the way, Sonic meets up with Amy Rose, only to have her be snatched by Metal Sonic, with the Blue Bird giving chase. This is a fairly different Sonic story. Compared to the likes of Sonic 1 and 2, it's nothing we haven't seen before. Not as complicated as Sonic 3 or even Sonic Adventure, but still a good plot for a 2D side-scroller. Gameplay for Sonic CD is very simple. Veterans of Sonic 1 and 2 can pick this up immediately, with newbies learning the control scheme very quickly. You move Sonic left and right, look up to see what's above you, and duck to avoid anything that might smack your big spiky snout, and it takes one button to jump. Very simple. Returning from Sonic 2 is the spin dash. By holding down and the jump button, Sonic can roll off at high speeds, destroying any bandit in his way. In the original Sega CD version, the spin dash worked very differently from Sonic 2. Instead of just pressing the button and just going off, CD has Sonic delay his movement by charging his spin dash, the camera panning to the right to see what's ahead of you, and releasing. Taxman Remaster, however, has a spin dash from Sonic 2 as a default, a much better improvement in my eyes, though if you are used to the Sega CD version, there is the option to switch to it. A new addition that is in the fan hack is the Super Peel Out. By holding up and pressing the jump button, Sonic will rev up his feet and go at breakneck pace. Though don't get any too comfortable though. When you're moving at high speed, Sonic is more vulnerable to getting hit by bandits. The same can be said when you're hitting a spring. Every time you hit a spring, Sonic will just spin up in the air instead of being in his normal ball form, making you more vulnerable to getting hit. Zones are structured as they were in Sonic 1. The first two acts giving you the choice to go into the past or the future, with the final act taking place primarily in the future. Level acts are structured like any platformer. You move to the right, collect rings for additional assurance if you get hit, and you earn score. Scattered throughout the levels are little posts to read past in the future. I'm guessing at some point Sonic wants to swallow a mini flux capacitor, because after passing one of these and keeping up with your speed, Sonic will generate 1.21 gigawatts of electricity and go into the selected time zone. By going into the past, the world of Little Planet goes into a more primitive version compared to the present. There are two machines that are your main objective, the Metal Sonic hologram and the Roboticizer. Destroying both destroys all bandits in both the past and future. Failure to do so and going into the future ensures Robotnik's rule with a bad future, a more evil, destroy looking Little Planet. However, destroying the Roboticizer does give you the good future where the world is much more bright, vibrant, and happy. If you destroy both Roboticizers in Acts 1 and 2 of the zone, ensures a good future for the zone. Failing to do so will give you the bad. Returning from Sonic 1 are special stages. After collecting 50 plus rings, reveals a giant ring floating over the goalpost. Jumping in here sends you to a mode 7-ish type of world, where the goal is to break the UFOs to get the time stones. You are at time, however, so don't dilly-dally. When the timer reaches 19 seconds, a blue and red UFO appears. Breaking it will give Sonic extra time to be in the stage. These stages are one of the more unique aspects of Sonic CD and the series itself. I'm serious. Name a special stage that wasn't the Sonic 1 trope, or the Sonic 2's half-pipe trope. We constantly get the same thing over and over again. Stage 1 through 4 are no issue. Stages 5 through 7 are ball busters, with the UFOs constantly swirling around, faking you out or make you fall into the water, which speeds up the timer. The Taxman Remaster has the option to quit the special state and return, just in case you ever feel like you're screwing up. Collecting the time stones or breaking the Robotizers to get the good future are all optional for a good ending, though it does entice more replayability. Do you want to be explorative and find the Robotizers? Or do you just want to speed ahead, get the 50 rings and go to the special zones? The ending themselves are not really that special. The good ending has Little Planet leave Earth releasing some confetti that plants flowers, while the bad ending has Robotnik leave to do naughty things with his time stones. Not gonna lie, I kinda prefer the bad ending, if only to see Sonic's mean throwing arm. That's always a laugh.
And it's White out of the backfield. Toss to White. He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl!
Now let's talk about the levels. All the levels in CD are essentially Sonic 1's tropes, just on some sort of drug. Palm Tree Panic is a tropical green hill zone on speed. Collision Chaos is Spring Yard Zone on cocaine, with a fitting name. Easily everyone's most hated stage, myself included. The amount of springs and bumpers scattered throughout are a constant pain in the ass, with the most dick-headed enemy being these little pricks being the Slicer's cousins. Title Tempest is Labyrinth Zone after eating an edible. Calm, relaxing, and then fairly easy stage as long as you don't drown. Quartz Quadrant is its own stage, being a mining facility with conveyor belts here and there. Wacky Workbench, however, can go f*** itself. The floor is constantly sending you flying to the top of the stage. It's filled to the brim with electric circuits, and I'm pretty sure Robotnik must have caught an Articuno at some point in his life, because these little exhausts instantly freeze Sonic, sending him down to the floor. Stardust Speedway. This was the breakout zone from this game, having a reappearance in Sonic Generations. It's like if Starlight Zone's aesthetics made sweet love to Chemical Planet Zone's tubes and runways. The third act has you fight Metal Sonic with Robotnik giving chase with an instant death laser. I won't criticize him for not using this item anymore because Metal Sonic apparently can't maneuver around a wall when it comes up. Huh. Finally comes Metallic Madness, Scrap Brain Zone on steroids, with an almost maze-like feel. Act 2 is the bane of my existence, however, with this particular jump. So tight, and this spring doesn't help either, and these badniks in Act 3 can go fly into the nearest bug zapper in my opinion. Though there is one glaring issue with the game itself. Sonic City has the most eccentric level design in the classic series. Stages like Palm Tree Panic, Tidal Tempest, Quartz Quadrant, and Stardust Speedway, and Metallic Madness for the most part, have very almost easy streamlined level design with alternate routes to take, enhancing that replayability. Stages like Collision, Chaos, and Wacky Workbench are the stages I dread the most because they're way too eccentric with their level design. In fact, I'd rather let the bad future happen to these two stages in particular. I hate them so much. Until I got the time stones anyway. Thus Null and Void. Sonic CD really took advantage of that CD technology and then some, There are so much colors here compared to Sonic 1. There's like someone mixed a bowl of Fruit Loops and Fruity Pebbles with rainbow sprinkles added in for good measure. The best examples are in Stardust Speedway, where the stages turn into an almost lavish amusement park in the good future, and the bad future is a miserable metropolis. While in the past, it's a tranquil nighttime setting with temples in place of the bustling town in the present. Palm Tree Panic is another best example, a better demonstration of the different time eras. In the past, it's an almost prehistoric world, the present being the tropical green hill zone, the good future having machinery aiding in the environment. In contrast, the bad future's machinery is destroying the environment. It's kinda grim seeing what was once a moderately gorgeous place Little Planet was, only for it to fall into utter desolation when Robotnik sees the world. On the other hand, that thought is instantly quelled when I think how Robotnik must have reacted and celebrated conquering Little Planet.
Robotnik! Robotnik! Yeah, yeah, yeah! Robotnik! Robotnik! Ra, ra, ra!
But I digress. It's almost a goal of mine to ensure the stages I love the most have a good future, just to see the beautiful colors and the music giving me this sense of accomplishment in saving Little Planet, like in Palm Tree Panic. Now to address the music and the elephant in the room. During the westernization, Sega of America wanted to change the soundtrack, sans the past tracks due to them being hard-coded into the game. As such, there are two different soundtracks to Sonic CD, the Japanese-European soundtrack and the American soundtrack. I can safely say that the original Japanese-European soundtrack is not only the best version, but easily the best soundtrack the series had to offer until Sonic Adventure. The American version has its fans. I like some of the tracks myself, except Sonic Boom. I don't know, I just never clicked with it, but the original takes the whole damn cake in my opinion. Hell, I use a remix of Stardust Speedway's Good Future as my credits theme. The Taxman version, however, removes lyrics to the opening and ending credits due to undisclosed licensing issues. A shame too, because I do get some enjoyment hearing Cosmic Eternity play over the credits. Though there is a silver lining for Sonic CD enthusiasts. With the Taxman remaster, they give you the option to play the game with either the original Japanese soundtrack or American soundtrack. Along with the added bells and whistles makes the Taxman remaster of Sonic CD the definitive version to play the game. Playing on the original Sega CD is fine enough for the most authentic and purest of gamers, but Christian Whitehead knew what he was doing when he created this and the other Sonic ports. Remember, he built these games with his own engine that he made when he was making ROM hacks. Now, he and partners Stealth are making the next official 2D Sonic game. That's crazy! Sonic City is one of the best games that came from the classic series. It's up there in my opinion with Sonic 2 as my favorite 2D side-scroller. The core game is fast-paced, open to exploration, and gorgeous in aesthetics and sound, despite some questionable level design. And you bet your ass when Sonic Mania comes out, I'm going to be playing that game from beginning to end. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in and watching Adore talk about a video game, and my first video game review at that too. More to come. Before I go though, I have an announcement to make. In my soon to be outdated channel trailer video, I said I will be doing a video solely focusing on a movie that was released back in February. That movie, in fact, was Jordan Peele's Get Out. However, in an effort to be relevant and while it's still fresh in my mind, my next video will be focused on the DCEU's own rebirth, Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman. Get Out will get its own video later down the line. Maybe. Until then, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.